Welcome to another AP Human Geography topic walkthrough, brought to you by Mr. Michael, Social Studies teacher. This video is here to help you fill out your lecture notes, understand the big ideas, and maybe even laugh once or twice. So grab your notes and let's get started.
Ever wondered why kids in Tokyo and Toronto are watching the same exact TikTok dance, while their grandmas are clutching rosaries or prayer beads and asking what on earth a skibidi toilet is? Welcome to the wild world of contemporary cultural diffusion, where memes go global in seconds. Indigenous languages are vanishing faster than limited edition drops. And the internet has officially made the world feel like one chaotic, slightly laggy group chat. In this lesson, we're diving into how modern forces like social media, urbanization, and globalization are reshaping cultures across the planet. From viral influencers to the slow fade of traditional customs, we'll see who's changing the culture and who's fighting to keep it. And trust, it's way deeper than just YouTube versus grandma's bedtime stories. All right, besties, time to level up your geo-brain. Here's the game plan for today. We're figuring out how modern life, from viral TikToks to urban sprawl, is literally rewriting the way cultures work. Like, why is someone in Brazil watching the same Netflix show as someone in South Korea? And what does that mean for local traditions, languages, and identities? We're talking about globalization, urbanization, and how your For You page might be part of a cultural revolution. These big forces don't just change what we wear or watch, they impact what languages survive, what traditions fade, and even who holds the power in cultural conversations. And yep, that includes stuff like time-space convergence, aka the reason your K-drama streams in real time while you snack in Kansas. Let's decode how all these forces shape culture today, and how some communities are clapping back to keep their roots strong. Back in the pre-global era, the biggest influencer on cultural diffusion wasn't a social media app, it was geography. Groups that lived close to each other tended to share similar cultural traits simply because they interacted more. That's the power of distance decay. The further something has to travel, the weaker its influence becomes. Then there's friction of distance, which works like static on a bad phone call. As cultural traits spread farther, they get distorted. Imagine trying to explain boba tea to your great-great-grandparents. By the time the message got through, they'd think it was soup with marbles. The chart here breaks it down. Strong interactions happen at short distances, while distant connections get fuzzier and rarer. But don't get too comfy in the old-school map mindset. Because up next, we're flipping the script with globalization and tech that make far feel freakishly close. Forget everything about distance holding culture back. Globalization came in like a wrecking ball and smashed those barriers. Now cultures are more connected than ever, thanks to the non-stop flow of ideas, trends, and content crossing borders like it's rush hour on the internet. This massive web of interaction isn't just global, it's personal. From K-pop stans in Colombia to American gamers live streaming with fans in Singapore, cultural traits are moving at the speed of Wi-Fi. Popular culture spreads through a whole squad of methods: the internet, social media, streaming services, politics, economic deals, and even how cities are built. Whether it's a trending sound on TikTok or a global election live tweeted in multiple languages, the ways culture diffuses today are as endless as a Netflix scroll on a Sunday night. And just when it seems like the world can't get more connected, time-space convergence enters the chat. Time to talk about the ultimate glow-up in geography: time-space convergence. The reason the world feels smaller, faster, and more connected than ever. Thanks to planes, fiber optic cables, and whatever wizardry powers 5G, ideas now travel across continents in seconds. What used to take weeks by ship now takes mere hours by jet. And memes take milliseconds. This shrinking of the effective world means cultures don't just bump into each other, they collide. The infographic here says it all. From stagecoaches to jumbo jets, each tech upgrade brought us closer together. And with that closeness came cultural convergence, the merging of customs, styles, and languages across the globe. That's why it's totally normal to see someone sipping matcha in Madrid while wearing a BTS hoodie and watching an American sitcom. As the world keeps shrinking, cultures aren't just connecting, they're blending. And in many places, that fusion is creating something totally new and surprisingly familiar. Cultural convergence is like a global remix, when two or more cultures interact and start borrowing from each other until their traits begin to align. It's why sushi burritos exist. It's why you can get a K-pop playlist at a gym in London. It's why World Cup fans from 5 continents chant in English. From sports to fast food to music, this process is everywhere. McDonald's, for example, adjusts its menu for local culture, hence the no cheeseburger rule in Israel due to religious dietary laws. But it's still very much the golden arches, no matter where it shows up. And when it comes to language, English, Korean, and Spanish are all climbing the charts, pushed by everything from YouTube algorithms to international fandoms. But as cultures blend and global brands go viral, not everything survives the remix. Some traditions, especially indigenous languages and ways of life, are being pushed to the margins or erased entirely. One of the biggest side effects of time-space convergence and the spread of global popular culture is the silent disappearance of indigenous languages and traditional practices. Right now, the world has around 5,000 to 6,000 spoken languages, but experts say that half could be gone within the next century. That's not just a loss of words. It's a loss of stories, rituals, music, identity, and entire worldviews. This cultural shift is a product of powerful social constructs, things like prestige, opportunity, and modern tech shaping what languages are seen as useful or cool. Globalization and communication technologies boost dominant languages like English and Mandarin, while smaller languages fade from daily life. In places where kids scroll and stream more than they speak their native tongue, culture isn't just changing, it's being replaced. But indigenous languages aren't just disappearing because people stop using them. In many cases, they're being erased on purpose through force, policy, and systemic pressure. The extinction of languages and cultures doesn't always happen quietly. Sometimes it's the result of intentional actions, like genocide, government bans, or institutions that strip away identity. In Turkey, for instance, Kurdish people have been legally blocked from printing or teaching their own language, a direct attack on their cultural survival. And in the United States, Native American boarding schools between the 1890s and 1960s punished students for speaking their native languages, aiming to Americanize them by force. This is where cultural convergence turns dark, not just blending cultures, but replacing one with another. And when these forces are backed by laws and political power, they leave deep, lasting scars. These examples also show that social constructs, like which language is seen as civilized or modern, can be used to justify oppression. Still, not every culture fades quietly. Some choose to resist, isolate, or preserve their identity in the face of global change. And that's where cultural divergence comes in. When global culture spreads fast, not every group joins the party. Some take a hard pass, by choice or by necessity. That's where cultural divergence comes in. While convergence brings cultures closer, divergence is all about setting boundaries, limiting contact to preserve originality. It can be caused by physical barriers like mountains or oceans, or by cultural decisions to reject outside influence. Take the Amish, for example. Their communities intentionally distance themselves from mainstream U.S. culture by avoiding electricity, modern tech, and even zippers. This isn't just about lifestyle. It's about protecting their identity from being swallowed by modern society. And this isn't just happening in rural Pennsylvania. Around the world, minority cultures resist the pressure to conform, whether by preserving language, dress, or belief systems, showing that divergence is just as powerful as diffusion. But to fully understand both convergence and divergence, it helps to tie everything together. Let's zoom out for a final recap. Let's wrap this up like a group project right before the bell. Contemporary diffusion is driven by globalization, communication technologies, and the wild speed of time-space convergence. These forces are reshaping cultures, sometimes blending them together in a wave of cultural convergence, and sometimes pulling them apart through cultural divergence. Key terms like social constructs remind us that what counts as modern or valuable in culture isn't natural. It's made up and passed around. And while some languages, trends, and customs go viral, others fade under the pressure or are deliberately erased. From TikTok to traditional dress, from boarding schools to McDonald's menus, cultural diffusion is all around us, and it's changing faster than your phone battery drops at 5%. Now let's put that brain power to work with a final challenge. All right, Brainiacs, time to flex those higher-order thinking muscles. Bonus question. How has time-space convergence affected both cultural convergence and cultural divergence in the modern world? Use examples like language loss, social media diffusion, or traditional cultural resistance to support your answer. Drop your answer in the comments and back it up with real-world evidence. No vague vibes allowed, and don't forget to add your name for that bonus point. Catch you next time. And remember, culture might be contagious, but critical thinking is the real flex.